Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore, well, ancient ideas, but for modern problems. And today, we're diving into something really unavoidable, something every single one of us faces.
Physical hardship.
Exactly. That nagging ache or maybe a sudden illness that just knocks you off your feet.
Or just the simple fact of getting older, the body changing. It can feel, completely overwhelming sometimes. Isolating even.
It really can. It's just woven into being human, isn't it?
It is.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive. We're going way back, like over 2,000 years.
To the ancient Stoics.
Yeah, to see how they handled this stuff, because they weren't just thinkers locked away somewhere.
No, not at all. They were, you could say, keen observers of the mind. Really practical.
Developing these powerful psychological tools almost, techniques to navigate pain and sickness, like resilience coaches, but from antiquity.
And the absolute bedrock, the core idea we'll keep coming back to, is this distinction they made.
Which is?
The body is not the mind. Simple, but profound.
Okay. Body, not mind. Sounds simple, maybe, but unpacking that.
Right. It's not just words. It's a principle that they believed could genuinely transform how you experience suffering.
Allowing you to accept the physical reality, the pain, without letting it shatter your inner peace, your character.
Precisely. Without letting it contour you from the inside out.
Okay, so that's our mission today. We want to arm you with these Stoic insights, some practical stuff, some stories too.
Yeah, so you walk away with a kind of toolkit, really, for courage, for resilience, for finding calm, even when things are physically tough.
And let's be clear, this isn't about, like, gritting your teeth and ignoring pain.
No, that's impossible. And frankly, not helpful.
It's about mastering your response to it, understanding what's actually in your control, especially when your body feels like it's letting you down.
Exactly. And to get there, we really need to start with their basic framework. This foundational idea of distinguishing what's ours from what's not.
The starting point for inner freedom, you said.
That's it.
All right, let's get into it. Stoicism. Some people might picture, I don't know, very serious, maybe stern figures.
Lost in thought.
But the sources, like William Irvine's work, they paint a different picture, don't they? Much more practical, almost therapeutic.
Absolutely. Irvine points out it had this huge psychological component.
Yeah.
The Stoics knew a life dominated by negative feelings, anger, anxiety, fear, grief, just wasn't a good life. It wasn't flourishing.
No, they weren't just theorizing about virtue in the abstract.
No, they were, as Irvine says, acute observers of the workings of the human mind. You could almost call them ancient psychologists.
Trying to develop actual techniques, like mental exercises.
Exactly. Ways to stop those negative emotions taking hold, or to deal with them when they inevitably popped up.
And this connects to their bigger goal, right? This idea of eudaimonia. Am I saying that right?
You are eudaimonia. And it's not just about feeling happy in the moment, it's deeper.
Like human flourishing, living well, finding meaning.
Precisely. Deep contentment, purpose. And for the Stoics, the main highway to get there was through virtue.
Virtue wasn't just one good thing among others.
For them, it was the thing, necessary and sufficient for that true flourishing, that eudaimonia. So the philosophy was really a system for living the best possible life, no matter what was happening externally.
Okay, which leads us straight to, you could argue, the core Stoic idea. The one that underpins all of this.
The dichotomy of control.
Things in our power, things not in our power. Simple statement, but huge implications.
Life-changing, potentially. Especially when you're dealing with something as raw and physical as pain or illness. You have to get this distinction clear.
Okay, so what is in our power, according to them? Let's take Epictetus, the former slave turned major Stoic teacher.
Right, you say, our opinions, our impulses, our desires, our aversions, and crucially, our reasoned choice.
Prohairesis.
Prohairesis. That's your core character, your will, your ability to judge and decide. Think of it as your internal command center.
And sources like the Daily Stoic or A. Long's Guide describe this prohairesis as what? Trustworthy, unshakable?
Trustworthy, unhindered, and something that can't be taken away from you. It covers your purpose, your character, who you fundamentally are as a person.
And Seneca, another big name.
He hammers this home. Virtue, or excellence of one's inner character, is the only true good. Your most valuable asset is internal, completely under your command, safe from external chaos.
Okay, that's what's in our power. So conversely, what's not?
Well, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they're very clear. The list includes our bodies.
Wait, my own body? That feels pretty mine.
Feels like it, doesn't it? But ultimately, they'd say it's external. along with possessions, reputation, health, sickness,
And death itself.
and death. These things happen to us. They're not directly commanded by our will.
Ryan Holiday mentions Helvidius Priscus's teachers.
Yeah, saying things like power, noble birth, anything beyond the will's control. They're neither truly good nor truly bad. They're indifferent.
No, indifferent doesn't mean you don't care about your health, right? It's not apathy.
Not at all. It's about recognizing the limits of your direct control. It's about focusing your energy where it makes a real difference on your choices, your judgments, your character, not wasting it trying to force outcomes you can't guarantee.
So why this split? Why would the universe, or Zeus, as Epictetus sometimes framed it, set things up this way? It seems almost cruel sometimes.
Epictetus has this fascinating thought experiment, kind of imagining Zeus explaining himself.
Okay.
As Irvine relates it, Zeus says, look, I couldn't make your paltry body and small estate completely immune to fate, couldn't guarantee perfect health forever, stop accidents, prevent aging. That wasn't possible.
Right. The physical world has its own rules.
But Zeus says, what I could give you, and did give you, was a certain portion of ourself, this power, this faculty.
The prohairesis again. The reasoned choice.
Exactly. The ability to choose how you respond. Your faculty of choice and refusal, desire and aversion. Your inner command center.
In the punchline.
Zeus tells Epictetus, essentially, if you learn to use this properly, focus on this, you'll never feel frustrated or dissatisfied.
Never. Despite illness, loss, pain.
You keep your inner peace, your tranquility. You might even find joy despite whatever fortune throws at you.
Wow. That's a powerful reframe. Our inner freedom, our ability to choose our response is like this inviolable gift.
A divine portion, as Epictetus saw it, something fundamentally ours, even when everything external seems to be falling apart. Your ultimate inner resource.
Okay. So that understanding that our core freedom is internal leads us right to the heart of dealing with physical suffering, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It leads directly to the Stoic separation of body and mind, which, let's face it, kind of challenges how we often think today.
We tend to identify so strongly with our bodies.
We do. But the Stoics insisted. Your physical body, however intimately connected it feels, is ultimately in that category of things not in our power.
It gets sick, it gets injured, it decays. It's just the nature of, well, flesh.
Exactly. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this a lot in his meditations. He said something like, the intellectual or governing part, your mind, once it knows its own power, doesn't have to be swept away by what the animal soul, the body, is feeling, whether it's pleasant or painful.
So your rational mind, your core self, can remain stable even when your body is screaming.
That's the idea. Physical suffering hits the body, yes.
Yeah.
That's undeniable. But the Stoics argue it doesn't have to infect your core self. Your reason, your judgment, your character can remain untouched, uncorrupted.
Epictetus had that really stark analogy, didn't he, about the physician and the shoemaker?
He did. He said, you value the doctor for the body, the shoemaker for shoes. Okay. But then he hits you with, the body is not yours, but by nature dead.
Whoa. Dead? That sounds extreme.
It's deliberately provocative, I think. He's not saying neglect your health. The Stoics valued health as a preferred indifferent. You should care for your body reasonably. But don't mistake it for your true self. It's a vessel, a tool. It will wear out. Your real identity, your lasting well-being, resides in your ruling faculty, your prohairesis.
So separating yourself from the body's fate frees you, stops its problems from automatically becoming your problems, in an existential sense.
That's the liberation they offered. You stop identifying so completely with the physical that its inevitable issues destroy your inner equilibrium.
Okay, so if the body is this external, temporary thing, where's our real strength? Where's the permanent part?
In the mind. Unequivocally. That's your unconquerable inner citadel, as they called it.
The place where character, virtue, reasoned choice live. And these are the only true goods.
According to Seneca, Epictetus, all of them.
Yes.
And that's also where you find real joy. A very different kind of joy than just physical pleasure.
Explain that difference, because often pain blots out any sense of pleasure or joy.
Right. Stoic joy isn't dependent on feeling good physically. Pierre Hadot described it beautifully. It's found in the best portion of the self, in perfect reason.
A connection to universal reason.
Something like that. It's a boundless joy, Seneca said, firm and unalterable. He contrasted it directly with the paltry and trivial and fleeting pleasures of the flesh.
But how? How do you access that firm, unalterable joy when you're dealing with, say, chronic pain that just grinds you down daily? It seems almost impossible.
It does seem counterintuitive, but Marcus Aurelius offers some real encouragement here. He reminds himself, essentially, that happiness depends on very few things.
And even if you're not going to be some great intellectual or scientist.
Exactly. Even if you despair of those things, he says you don't have to despair of becoming free, honorable, modest, kind, social, resigned to God or nature.
That's incredibly liberating. It means your core goodness, your moral worth, your inner freedom, they remain accessible regardless of your physical state or external achievement.
No illness, no injury, no external circumstance can truly touch that. That's the promise.
And Marcus then asks that piercing question.
What hinders the soul?
Yeah, what hinders the soul to preserve itself amidst these things, in all tranquility, in just judgments, and in a proper use of what is cast in its way?
He's really pushing us there, saying the obstacle isn't the event, the sickness, the pain. The real obstacle, or the potential one, is our judgment about it.
We add a layer of mental suffering on top of the physical sensation.
Often, yes. The inner response is where the battle is won or lost, not necessarily in the physical feeling itself.
And Epictetus brings it back to values, right? Don't value the poor flesh over the principal thing.
Exactly. To proegumena, the leading things. Prioritize your moral compass, your reason, your character, above the temporary state of your body.
It's a radical shift. See the body as a tool for your virtue, not the core of who you are.
You are the reasoning, choosing, be using the body, not just the body itself.
Okay, so that's the framework. Powerful stuff. Distinguishing control, separating mind from body. But how do we do it? How do we actively build that fortitude when we're actually facing pain or illness?
Right. They didn't just talk the talk. They had practical techniques, spiritual exercises, you could call them.
Let's get into those. What's the first one?
A big one. Amor fati, love of fate.
Love of fate. Not just acceptance, but love. That sounds challenging.
It is. Epictetus says we need to learn to wish that everything may happen as it does. It's not passive resignation like shrugging your shoulders.
It's active, almost welcoming.
It's an active alignment of your will with reality, with the flow of nature, the universe, whatever term you prefer, saying yes to what is.
Okay, I can maybe see accepting a minor headache, but loving fate when you get a devastating diagnosis or chronic debilitating pain. How does one genuinely love that? Isn't that asking too much?
It's a profound question, and amor fati isn't about pretending the terrible thing is suddenly pleasant or good in a conventional sense.
So what is it then?
It's about recognizing, this is now part of my reality. It has happened. To fight it mentally, to constantly wish it were otherwise, is to wage war against reality itself. That's exhausting and futile.
Wasting energy on resistance.
Exactly. Amor fati redirects that energy. It says, okay, this is the situation. Now, how can I find strength, purpose, virtue within this? How can I use this? It's moving from bitterness and why me to what now?
Shifting from victim to agent, even within difficult circumstances.
That's a good way to put it. It liberates you to act within the reality you have.
Epictetus said, "Except the will, nothing is good nor bad, and that we ought not to lead events, but to follow them."
That sounds like this acceptance, this following the flow.
It does, recognizing we don't dictate everything. We navigate. But how do you do that when pain is just screaming at you?
Yeah, how do you practice that when it's so immediate, so physical?
Epictetus uses that intense analogy of the pancratium.
The brutal, ancient fighting sport.
Right. He asks, isn't philosophy a preparation for events? Like a fighter trains for the blows.
So he's framing suffering as training, a test.
Exactly. He says, now is the time for the fever. Let it be borne well. Now is the time for thirst. Bear it well. Is it not in your power? Who shall hinder you? Wow. That completely reframes it. It's not a random misfortune. It's your specific challenge. Your chance to show your training.
Transforms it from a sign of weakness or victimhood into an opportunity for demonstrating inner strength, growth through adversity.
And we have those anecdotes, right? Like Epictetus and his lamp.
Yeah, from Holiday's Lives of the Stoics. Thief steals his lamp. Epictetus doesn't flip out.
He just says,
basically, tomorrow I'll get an earthenware one. A man only loses what he has, meaning what he mistakenly thinks he possesses securely. The lamp was external. Its loss didn't touch his inner self.
His tranquility wasn't dependent on the lamp.
Nope. And even more dramatically, Zeno, founder of Stoicism.
Shipwrecked. Loses everything.
And famously says, I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck, because losing his material wealth led him to philosophy in Athens.
That's radical reframing, seeing the catalyst for growth in the disaster itself.
For them, no event is purely bad. It's raw material for virtue.
Okay, which flows perfectly into the second technique. Viewing adversity, including sickness and pain, as training for character.
These spiritual exercises, as Haddad called them. Seneca was huge on this.
He thought a life of total ease was actually bad.
One of the worst things, potentially. He argued, only by being stirred up by labor's pains and losses can we become genuinely robust as human beings. Too much comfort makes you soft, unprepared.
That feels so counter to our modern drive for comfort and convenience.
It really does. We see friction as the enemy. But Epictetus agreed with Seneca.
Yeah.
It is difficulties that reveal a person's character.
And he used the analogy of the trainer.
Yeah, like a wrestling coach pairing you with a tough opponent. Not to crush you, but to make you stronger, so you might become an Olympic champion.
But you can't win gold without sweat, without the struggle.
Exactly. So when illness or pain shows up, the Stoic perspective isn't, oh no, disaster. It's, okay, training session. Time to apply my principles. Time to build strength.
It's an active stance. And you mentioned philosophy itself as a kind of training.
Epictetus saw philosophical inquiry as figuring out how to use desire and aversion without getting tripped up. It's not just reading, it's active practice, shaping your responses daily.
Like mental conditioning.
Strengthening that inner citadel day by day.
And it's incredible how this resonates even centuries later. Viktor Frankl's experiences.
In the concentration camps, yeah. He saw that those prisoners who consciously focused on inner values, on a higher spiritual meaning, couldn't be broken internally by the horrific external conditions.
Their attitude made the difference.
Frankl concluded, it boils down to the attitude you take towards challenges. It's a stunning, real-world validation of the Stoic principle in the most extreme adversity imaginable. The inner citadel held.
So how do we cultivate that attitude? How do we actually do the reframing? This seems to bring us to the third technique.
The power of judgment. Opinion.
Dogmata.
This feels absolutely central, Marcus Aurelius again. All your perturbation comes from inward opinions about them. Pause on that. Your disturbance, your upset, doesn't come directly from the thing, the pain, the illness. It comes from your opinion, your judgment about the thing.
The story you tell yourself about it.
That it's terrible, unbearable, unfair.
Yeah.
If you can manage those judgments, you manage the suffering. The physical part might remain, but the added layer of mental anguish.
That's optional, or at least manageable.
That's the Stoic claim. Seneca puts it so well. Nothing is heavy if we take it lightly. Nothing need provoke anger if one does not add one's anger to it.
So the physical sensation is there, but the anger, the resentment, the self-pity, that's the added weight from our judgment.
We pile it on ourselves. And this connects to their view of emotions. It's quite sophisticated, really.
They didn't see emotions as just irrational forces taking over.
Not exactly. Thinkers like Zeno and Chrysippus, as Margaret Graver explains, saw destructive emotions not as separate from reason, but as reason gone wrong.
Like faulty logic.
Wicked and uncontrolled reason, strengthened by a bad and erroneous judgment. So your despair over chronic pain isn't just raw feeling, it's rooted in a mistaken judgment that the pain is an absolute evil, that it destroys all possibility of a good life.
Which contradicts their core idea that only virtue is good and externals are indifferent.
Precisely. It's a logical error, in their view, leading to emotional distress.
So the solution is the discipline of judgment.
Yes. Actively examining your thoughts, scrutinizing the automatic judgments that pop into your head, asking, is this true? Is this helpful? Is this based on a correct understanding of what's good and bad?
Differentiating between the initial feeling and the story you layer on top.
Exactly. That first involuntary wince when you stub your toe, that's a propathia, natural pre-emotion. Fine. But the cascade of, this is awful, my day is ruined, why me? That's the path. The destructive passion fueled by assenting to those negative judgments.
So the work is catching it at that second stage, interrogating the judgment before you fully buy into it.
That's the discipline. Withholding assent from false or harmful judgments.
Seneca's quote about other people's actions applies here too, doesn't it?
Perfectly. It is not what men do that disturbs us, but our opinions of what they do. Take away those opinions. Dismiss your judgment that this is something terrible and your anger goes away.
Just swap what men do for what my body does. It's not the illness itself, but my judgment that the illness is terrible, which causes the deepest disturbance.
Change the judgment. Reduce the inner turmoil. You can still feel the physical reality, but without the added mental torture.
Okay, technique number 4. This one sounds a bit gloomy. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum.
Yeah, contemplating bad things. It sounds counterintuitive for finding peace.
Definitely. Why dwell on the negative?
Well, as Irvine explains, it's a kind of psychological trick with a couple of key benefits. It's not about morbidly wallowing.
Okay, benefit 1.
Appreciation. By consciously thinking about how things could be worse, losing your health, loved ones, abilities, you cultivate gratitude for what you do have right now. It combats taking things for granted, that hedonic adaptation.
Makes sense. You appreciate your breathing when you imagine struggling for breath.
Exactly. Benefit 2 is preparation.
Preparing for the worst, including illness and death.
Yes. Mentally rehearsing potential hardships makes them less shocking and destabilizing if they actually happen. Marcus Aurelius did this constantly, meditating on mortality.
Soon the earth will cover us all. Death knocks at the king's palace and the beggar's shack alike.
That perspective shrinks down worldly concerns, doesn't it? Status, possessions, even physical comforts seem less all-important when viewed against that backdrop of universal fate. It equalizes everything.
It cuts through the fear of loss that often fuels anxiety about sickness.
Right. Now, Seneca acknowledged that death, even if it's technically indifferent in Stoic terms, still feels like an evil. We're wired for survival.
It cannot be easily ignored.
No. So the practice isn't about instantly feeling neutral about death or severe illness. It's about training yourself through contemplation to see them differently, to re-educate your perspective, viewing them as natural, inevitable parts of life, not ultimate evils.
Defanging the fear by examining it rationally.
Bringing it out of the shadows.
And Epictetus took this to the extreme edge, didn't he? Contemplating torture, exile.
Study not to die only, but also to endure torture, to give up all which is not your own. It sounds incredibly harsh.
Like self-inflicted mental pain?
But remember, it's a mental exercise. The goal is maximum inner freedom. If you can mentally face the absolute worst physical and external calamities with equanimity, then actual real-life hardships, which are usually less extreme, become much easier to bear.
It builds immense resilience, like psychological inoculation.
A fire drill for the soul, perhaps, makes you less fragile when faced with the heat of actual adversity.
Okay, so we've got these powerful techniques: amor fati, adversity as training, mastering judgment, negative visualization. If we practice these diligently, what's the payoff? What's the goal state?
The goal is ataraxia, tranquility.
Freedom from disturbance, not just feeling okay, but a deep inner calm.
A profound peace that isn't dependent on external conditions.
Yeah.
As the Daily Stoic puts it, freedom from disturbance by external things. It's internally generated.
Epictetus said, "A tranquil life has continuity and freedom from obstacle." That sounds like smooth sailing, but life isn't smooth.
The smoothness isn't external, it's internal. The freedom from obstacle is freedom from internal obstacles, the turmoil caused by flawed judgments and unchecked desires or aversions. The calm comes from within, regardless of the choppy waters outside.
And that inner calm allows you to live. How did Epictetus put it?
With a light heart and bearing easily the reins, quietly expecting everything which can happen and enduring that which has already happened.
Wow. Meeting illness, pain, setbacks with a light heart. That's the aim. It sounds incredible, almost unbelievable.
It's presented as the achievable result of consistent practice and understanding what's truly yours to control.
But let's be really clear here. This tranquility, this ataraxia, it doesn't mean becoming a robot, right? An emotionless statue.
Absolutely not. That's a common and very wrong caricature of Stoicism. They weren't aiming for apathy.
We have that story about Marcus Aurelius weeping.
Yes, Hadit recounts it. He wept openly when his tutor Apollonius died. A courtier was shocked, but the emperor Antoninus Pius defended him.
Saying,
"Let him be a man. Neither philosophy nor the empire can uproot affections." The Stoics understood natural human feelings, those perpathii.
the initial pangs of grief, fear, joy, those are okay. Unavoidable even.
They're part of our nature, automatic reactions. The goal isn't to eliminate those.
It's to stop them from morphing into destructive passions, the path, by adding bad judgments.
Exactly. You feel the initial sadness when you get bad news. That's human. The Stoic work is to prevent that sadness from festering into prolonged despair or resentment by challenging the judgments fueling it. Is this truly the end of the world? Is my entire worth destroyed? Is this situation entirely bad?
Acknowledge the feeling, process it, but don't let it hijack your reason.
Seneca advised on grief. Remember, let your tears flow, but let them also cease. Let deepest sighs be drawn, but let them also find an end.
Allow the natural response, but manage it with reason. Don't get swept away by false beliefs about the situation.
Precisely. Acknowledge your humanity. Maintain your inner freedom. You're not a statue. You're a rational being capable of navigating emotions wisely.
Okay, bringing this all together. Why does this ancient stuff matter now in our crazy, fast-paced, modern world?
Because the core challenges haven't changed that much, have they? We still face uncertainty, loss, illness, pain, information overload maybe, but the fundamental human condition.
Still involves suffering. And these techniques feel incredibly relevant. Like, modern CBT therapy owes a huge debt to Stoic judgment discipline, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Stoics were pioneers in understanding the link between thoughts, feelings, and actions millennia ago. Their insights offer a timeless path to resilience.
And Seneca's point about wasting life.
Yeah, life, if you know how to use it, is long. Not that we have a short time, but that we waste much of it. Learning to handle hardship well, manage our reactions to pain and illness, that's a way to stop wasting life on unnecessary turmoil.
It's about investing your energy wisely, living more fully, even with challenges, instead of being drained by them.
Improves the quality, regardless of the quantity or the physical circumstances.
And it's not just a selfish pursuit, is it? Seneca's idea about good people helping each other.
Because they exercise each other's virtues.
Right.
When you cultivate your own inner strength, your own calm in the storm, it ripples outwards.
Your resilience becomes an example. It can help others.
It can be incredibly inspiring. Seeing someone navigate difficulty with grace and courage gives others hope and strength for their own struggles. Your inner citadel can become a beacon.
And ultimately, just having some philosophy of life, some guiding principles.
As Irvine argues, even a less than ideal one is better than drifting aimlessly. Stoicism offers this incredibly robust, tested framework for consciously shaping your life, your character, your response to whatever comes.
It gives you agency, choice, freedom.
Fundamentally, yes.
So let's recap. We've explored this crucial Stoic split, body versus mind, recognizing our reasoned choice, our proheresis as our real possession.
Which empowers us to face sickness and pain without our core self crumbling.
We looked at techniques, loving fate, amor fati, seeing adversity as training.
Mastering our judgments, challenging those automatic negative thoughts.
And even negative visualization to build appreciation and resilience, all aiming for that unshakable inner tranquility, ataraxia.
These aren't just historical footnotes. They're like a user manual for being human, especially when things get tough physically.
A guide to courage and calm, powered by your own mind.
A path to inner peace that's genuinely within your reach.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something for you to really think about. A final provocative thought. We know physical hardship is coming for all of us, in some form, eventually. It's just part of the deal. So thinking about everything we've discussed today, what specific Stoic principle or what concrete practice will you consciously try to integrate into your life starting this week?
Not with the aim of magically avoiding pain, because you probably can't.
Right. But with the aim of strengthening your inner character, protecting your tranquility, making it truly unassailable. How will you start reinforcing your own inner citadel to make it truly unconquerable no matter what happens on the outside?